What is going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel. And if you guys are new, welcome. Today we're going to be taking you through a super fun hunter build that is going to be just destructive, if you will, or distraction. I don't really know how you want to describe this build, but I was having a blast with it in Iron Banner, absolutely dapping up people. I think this is going to be really fun to run in the Crucible in your sixes, maybe even in a little comp, if you will, because you can do some crazy damage with it. But we're gonna go with a Gyrfalcon's Hunter with that Void Invisibility volatile rounds. So our Void weapons gain volatile rounds after we emerge from being invisible. When we are invisible, defeating a combatant using a finisher, all of our weapons gain bonus damage. You and your nearby allies get overshield, improved class ability regeneration. These reserve overshields can be deployed by using your class ability. So we're not using finishers, but volatile rounds. When we get those defeats, we're gonna go invisible once again because it'll just perpetually make us invisible when we defeat those debuffed targets. So very fun little build, being invisible, creating explosions with volatility, and we're going with the good old chaperone, of course. So with this build, I went with a void build again. With this Night Stalker, I went with spectral blades, but you could really throw on any of these. I was just liking the defeats that we were getting, that true sight that we get from spectral blades. We went with marksman dodge on this bad boy, strafe jump with our snare bomb, and then void spike right here. Definitely my favorite void grenade on Hunter. Stylish executioner, this right here is why we are becoming invisible after getting those defeats on those volatile targets, because when we get defeats on void debuffed targets, we get invisibility and true sight. So we get wall hacks with this build, and we're going to be invisible so we can surprise guardians coming out of absolutely nowhere. Vanishing step, when we dodge, we are going to go invisible so we can get that Gyrfalcons to proc as much as humanly possible, instead of going with something like vanishing step, or I should say trapper's ambush, where we use our quick fall to go invisible. I was liking having stylish executioner because we are getting volatility consistently with this build, giving us stylish executioner to proc consistently. Void fragments that we got going on right here. Echo of Revenants, that spike grenade that we got is going to have increased duration, like having that boy on there, especially if they're stuck in the snare bomb. We're going to go with echo dilation. Crouch, we gain sneak and enhanced radar. We get mobility and intellect with this. Definitely nice with our invisible hunter crouching around. No one's going to know where you're at. Expulsion right here. Void ability, final blows cause targets to explode. So when you get a whole bunch of people stuck in a snare bomb with the void spike, you're gonna get this to go on and just explosion after explosion of void volatility, if you will, going on, because everybody is stuck in the combination of the snare bomb with our void boy right there. And echo of instability, defeating targets with grenade gives us volatile rounds. I was using this for a little bit of extra strength on this build, plus we are getting a grenade defeats decent amount with this build. Like I said, the combination of these is disgusting with the expulsion and then instability. We're getting that invisibility even more because of volatile rounds. Pairing with stylish executioner, it is just a beautiful little synergy, super fun build to use. When we move on to our stats and mods that we're going to be using, I've built this out for mobility, recovery, and discipline being my hundreds. Resilience, yes, I know this is at 2, so roast me for it. I was hoping I could get this up to 5, but I was rather having the stat distribution that I had with mobility, recovery, and discipline. You could technically take discipline down, put it in recovery, but I like it because of what I just covered with my aspects, fragments, stuff like that. Now for the mods, I got harmonic targeting with this so we can get all of that void targeting. Void reloader with kinetic dexterity. Like I said, we're going to be using that chaperone. Unflinching kinetic right here so we can have that harmonic void, just absolute laser beam. Like I say on basically all of my videos for our boots, recuperation, orbs of restoration, absolution. We're getting all of our abilities back basically with these two when we pick up orbs, and then some health back as well. Regen starts when we pick up those orbs of power. For us, we're going to create orbs of power with Reaper, picking them up with that powerful attraction. Very nice with a hunter, so we can get all of these to proc very easily, which as much as we're dodging because we got that 100 mobility, and then bomber, when we do dodge as much as we are, we're getting some chunk of grenade energy back as well to help proc everything that we talked about in our super, hence also why we got that 100 discipline down here. As for weapons on this build, for me, I went with the chaperone as my number one choice right here. Absolutely dapping guardians up in this kinetic slot feels just right for me to pair with this invisibility. You can sneak up on people, chaperone them, and then of course in the slot right here with void weapons, totally up to you. You can really use any void weapon you want and pair it with this build because it's going to give you volatile rounds, but make sure you got void weapons on. I was really liking this repost right here with the 2 pain kill clip on it. It was feeling super crispy. I like this Argos right here with dynamic sway onslaught, and then of course we got ourselves Elsie's rifle, Zen Moment Head Seeker. All of these very good options. You can even throw on like Palindrome, Saira's Wrath, anything that has a void burn on it in this slot that you like, throw it on. For me, I went with Hammerhead. One, we got the void burn on it, so it's going to pair with Gyrfalcons, plus this thing, definitely my favorite to go to inside of the Crucible. Could go with a grenade launcher if you want as well to get some really crazy volatility to go on, but Hammerhead, I definitely think you can get the most defeats in a row with it. Now last but certainly not least, nothing again too crazy on our artifact mod. This is going to pair very well next season as well inside of Heresy without, you know, everything that we got going on here, whatever the new artifact mods are. Really the only 3 that we're going to be using is Old God's Right, Curative Orbs, and Supernova, so we can break that combatant shield inside of their super. We're going to get an Orb of Power. Void Breaches, when we pick them up, our Void Weapon is going to create a rain of Void projectiles, so very good combination with this build. And then if we do pick up Void Breaches, we're also going to have a Void damage to weakening charges, so we're going to be able to do a nice little combination of weakening on this, get a bunch of different Void Breaches, hopefully to proc, so our Void Weapons are also going to get those seeking projectiles. But like I said, this really doesn't matter as much. It is more based on our Gyrfalcons with whatever Void Weapons that you are having, so you can go Invisibility all the time with that Stylus Executioner, you know what I mean? So this build, very fun. You can be very sneaky with it. I personally like this. I know there's probably some better Invisibility builds out there overall if you want something with your helmet that makes you last forever inside of Invisibility. Gemini Jesters if you want to make their radar go away, little things like that. But I personally like this one as one of my favorites. It's super fun in 6s, definitely the most fun in 6s because that volatility, you can wipe out an entire group of 6 with your volatility that you got going on, basically, especially if you get a grenade in there with your smoke going on. So very fun build. Also works in 3s as well. I got some clips in the gameplay from that, so be ready to slap this out. Try it out, I should say, my hunters. I know people like their meta builds, but this thing is also super fun. I was doing a lot in Iron Banner, doing a lot in comp with this, so appreciate all you guys as always for coming back to the channel, checking all these builds out, etc. that we got. So I really appreciate you guys. Don't be afraid to like and subscribe. Hit that bell if you haven't. Helps me out, helps the channel out. Plus you guys will get all the notifications on these builds, god rolls that we put out, etc. So again, appreciate you guys. Heresy coming out just in a few days here, so we are ready for a lot of videos, getting that rest right now. So appreciate all you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.